Hello everyone, Scruffy Paul here. I'm really looking forward to shaving my beard off, which I'm going to do on Saturday during our Extra Life charity live stream. Today's video is going to serve as a vehicle for two messages to deliver to you guys. First is, if you missed the Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals extravaganza, fear not, because there are still deals out there. And in fact, the busiest shopping day of the year usually is not Black Friday, Cyber Monday time. It's usually within the first week or two of December. So I have pruned and updated my deals spreadsheet. That is linked in the video description down below. I'm not going to go over all the deals for today's video, but check it out if you're still looking to put together a PC or get yourself some upgrades. There are still some great deals out there, such as the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D over on Newegg, which you can get with a $10 promo code. And they have this special deal going on right now where if you sign up for a firm, which maybe you don't want to do, but you get 15% off site-wide. If you add that to stuff like the 7800X 3D or like this RX 6700 XT for $320, it brings the price down to below $300 for that one. So there it is, you guys. Get yourself some deals. Those links do use my affiliate codes, so thank you very much for your support. Secondarily, I have a bit of a logistical situation to deal with because thanks to a couple projects that I have coming up real soon, as well as those Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals that I took advantage of, I've had a bunch of things arrive. Just a moment. As you can see, lots of packages have arrived, so I would like to open them up to see what's inside. I have a name for that segment. It's called Mail Time. Excellent! Today's video is brought to you by the Tower 200 series cases from Thermaltake, featuring a vertical tower design with a 90-degree rotated motherboard and two pre-installed CT140 fans. The Tower 200 can support huge GPUs, including the RTX 4090, without compromising airflow thanks to an abundance of filtered ventilation panels, and it also supports 280mm AIOs, standard size PSUs, and a sold separately 3.9-inch LCD panel kit to personalize your rig or display useful system stats. It's available in black, snow, or several unique shades of green, so for more on Thermaltake's The Tower 200 series cases, click the sponsor link in the video description. So I'm going to try to split these unboxings into three categories. The first category is stuff for you guys. Those are going to be things that are up for giveaway or things that are part of the giveaway system that's being given away to help support our Extra Life charity live stream that's going to be going on December 9th. That's on Saturday, very soon. But you don't have to wait for Saturday. The giveaways are actually already opened, and if you click the Linktree link down in the video's description, you can find links and details for all of them, and you don't have to donate to enter. You just have to visit the donation page. Of course, if you can donate, it's to help support Children's Miracle Network hospitals through Extra Life, which is a great cause, but feel free to start entering right away. We have some really cool giveaway stuff up for grabs, but I'm going to start with this package because I think this is a unique thing that maybe you've never even seen before. So if you guys watched the build of the month for December, you saw me build a system, about a $2,000 system with a 7800X 3D and an RX 7900 XT graphics card. AMD had reached out to me to offer some support for giveaway stuff to support our charity live stream, but they offered an extra unique item that they thought might be a desirable giveaway item that's a little bit special, and that's why I'm starting off with this package right here. In the mysterious pink bubble wrap, we have a CPU, but this is a very special CPU because look at it. So as you might be able to tell, this CPU does not have a heat spreader. This is a 7950X CPU from AMD's AM5 platform, 7000 series Ryzen processors. But this was actually pulled off the production line before it had the heat spreader or the lid attached to it. So this is not a de-lidded 7950X. This is a never lidded 7950X, but they have placed some black stuff here. Protect it. So right underneath you can see the IO die as well as your two Ryzen chiplets there, providing 16 cores, 32 threads. I mean, this is a 7950X. Will it work? That's probably a question a lot of you have. This CPU has never been programmed, so maybe is the answer that I got there. It might be functional if you were to apply some direct die cooling to it. You might have an awkward time in the UEFI or BIOS. It might not work at all. So this isn't necessarily being given away as like a CPU for someone to use. The winner could totally try that if they wanted to. This is more of a unique specialty item, and when I was told by AMD that, hey, do you think maybe this would be a cool giveaway item? I was like, I think so. I think some people are gonna have a lot of fun checking that out. And especially for anyone who gets into the more extreme overclocking and different types of cooling, where delitting is often desirable, so you can apply direct die cooling, which can be a lot more dangerous because the die is exposed and they are about the consistency of glass, so they can be broken or cracked if a heatsink is applied and not applied evenly, for example. But there it is, a never lidded Ryzen 9 7950X processor. It's going to be up for giveaway to help support our Extra Life charity events. But it's not just going to be the CPU, since I know this is a cool collector's item, but we wanted to provide something that's a little bit more functional as well. I already unboxed this when we did the $2,000 build, posted just earlier this week. But this is a Radeon RX 7700 XT, also from Power Color, their Hellhound edition. Very nice graphics card. So this is going to be given away along with the never lidded 7950X to a lucky winner once those giveaways end. And thank you again, AMD, for your support for our charity event. Next up, we have another package for you guys, or for someone who's going to win, because this is another giveaway item. This is the Trinity OC version of the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti from Zotac, and this was sent over by Mike, aka MB67, along with a nice note apologizing to us for only being able to send us a video card to give away and not an entire system. Mike, we're so disappointed. I'm just kidding. We're so grateful for you, for your continued support. Mike has been providing us with PCs and giveaway video cards to help support our Extra Life charity live streams for quite a few years now. So thank you, Mike, once again for sending this over. This will also be a giveaway item for a lucky winner out there. I'm not gonna take it out of the box or anything because I want it to stay nice and pristine. And I will say, on the plus side, it is a little bit easier for me to ship something like this than an entire PC. So thank you, Mike, once again, and good luck and congrats to the eventual winner of this graphics card. Next up in this Amazon baggie is also something for the winner. Actually, the winner of that $2,000 gaming PC that I posted the video on earlier this week. I was supposed to put this SSD in there, the Acer 2TB FA100. However, these suddenly went out of stock and became really difficult to find. So I'm replacing that with a very similar drive in terms of performance that is also reasonably priced. This is the TeamGroup MP34, 2TB NVMe SSD. Very good performance for a PCIe Gen 3 SSD. This one is gonna go into that $2,000-ish system, the one with the 7800X 3D and the RX 7900 XT graphics card. I just need to drop it in there still, so update for you guys. Also, I'll link this one in my deal spreadsheet, because if you are looking for a 2TB SSD, this is one of the best in terms of price per gigabyte right now. Here is another package. This one is black bubble wrap, and I think I know what this one is. And I think this is also from our friends over at Lexar. Ooh, look at that. I was totally right. Oh my gosh, they upgraded me. Boom, gorgeous. All right, we record typically on Panasonic Lumix GH5 cameras. I haven't upgraded for a while, but they're still really good cameras and they do 4K and all that good stuff. We record onto 256 gigabyte Lexar Professional SDXC cards because they're very fast in terms of read and writes. And if you've recorded, say, 30, 40, 60, 80 gigs of footage, and then you're at the end of the day and you need to copy that footage, sitting around and waiting a really long time for it to copy can get a little tedious. So they have provided me with 2 more of the 256 gig models. This is also gonna allow me to make use of the GH5's dual SD card feature, where I can have 2 SD cards installed. So just in case one fails, like right as you're filming, especially if it's some crucial shot, you're gonna have the backup one that it's gonna be filming to as well. And they have 512 gig versions of these now as well. So that's super cool that they've also included those for mass storage, since I have multiple cameras, and since this is great for recording like really long takes of something, or doing a time lapse or something like that, or just making sure you can take as many pictures or as much 4K video as you want without having to swap out the SD cards. So Lexar, again, thank you so much for providing these. We're gonna put these into use right away, and we'll definitely be making really good use of these at CES in January too. They're like in unboxing videos that are cool. They're like, the thing comes sliding in, and then they're like spin it. As you guys might be aware, we are building a new system for Joe. That system is going to feature a Threadripper 7970X, the 32-core processor. It's also going to feature a bunch of really high-end hardware. We're building it in the Lian Li 011 Vision, and it's of course going to need some storage. So from Lexar, we have 4 terabyte NVMe SSDs. This is the NM790. This is a Gen 4 SSD that actually hits Gen 4 speed, 7,400 megabytes per second reads, just a little bit shy of that on the writes. This is available both with and without a heatsink, which is convenient, so you can choose which one you want or need. Of course, if you buy the one with the heatsink, you can remove the heatsink and still install it like on a motherboard that has a built-in heatsink or something like that. So we're gonna be installing a couple of these to help Joe out with his build. Boom, just like that. And a big thank you to Lexar for sending these over. And for anyone who's is interested in some very nice high-speed Gen 4 SSDs, the NM790 is a really solid choice. All right, we're getting into the good stuff now. Joe, do you know what this is?
Any CPU?
Well, don't spoil it.
You asked me to give you an answer, you're like, don't say it.
Don't answer the question. This one's from Newegg. That's where I ordered Joe's CPU. Can I just say, after several generations of Threadripper CPUs coming out in boxes that were pretty cool, but also pretty big, and like I try to keep boxes like that because they're kind of keepsakes and you know they're kind of cool looking, but I'm glad that AMD went with a sensible Ryzen size box for the new generations of Threadrippers. Plus it just looks so impressive when you flip it around and it's like you can see like most of the heat spreader, you can't even see the whole thing because it's just sticking right through there. So this is a 7970X, 32 core, 64 thread processor. This is what we'll be installing in Joe's system. It's funny because when we went over the parts for this build, you get feedback of varying degrees. Some is like, oh my gosh, what an awesome epic build. I can't wait to see it come together. Some is like, why did you only get him the 32 core? Why not the 64 core version, Paul? And my answer is money. $5,000 versus $2,500. It's a pretty big difference. Also for Joe's purposes, since he's primarily using Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, After Effects, there is some benefit to having additional cores for that, especially for like video transcoding where it actually loads up all the cores and threads, but not a huge advantage for a lot of those software applications going with the much higher end and doubly expensive 64 core model. So Joe, 32 cores is gonna have to be enough for you. But there is more things that have also arrived for that build. Starting with this box here. Inside this box we have brown, not just the paper, but also the classic Noctua brown, because this box came from Noctua. What a lovely assortment of Noctua products we have here. The cooler I wanted to go with for Joe's build was an air cooler, and a lot of people in the comments were like, how could you possibly just go with a stupid air cooler for Joe's awesome Threadripper build? And the answer is reliability long term. I've had too many all-in-one liquid coolers that had a pump fail or something like that in a mission critical system where it took it down and affected my production or our ability to produce videos. Air cooling doesn't have that issue. Other people were like, how could you use an air cooler when liquid cooling is gonna provide more performance? I'm not so sure about that. Granted, yes, in terms of peak performance, overclocking, stuff like that, yes, liquid cooling can do better, but allow me to direct you to Gamers Nexus's video testing some Threadripper air cooling. Now granted, this is back with first gen Threadripper, but do note that both with a Kraken X62 and an ENERMAX Liquidtech 240, the NH-U14 is sitting there right in between them. Here's another chart, and I'll post a link to this in the video in the description if you're interested. Anyway, those are my two reasons for going with this air cooler from Noctua, the NH-U14S. This is TR5-SP6. This is the same cooler that has been previously compatible with the previous Threadripper platforms. Since the actual mount for CPU cooling hasn't changed, this one is still compatible. And to make it super nice and look nice, not that it doesn't look nice as is, it's just, you know, a little bit of that industrial utilitarian vibe that Noctua goes with, but we're gonna be swapping in some Chromax black 140mm fans. These are the NF-A15HS PWM. Those have the little colored corners you can add to them, but we're just gonna go all black. We also have the Chromax black cover. It's just like a heatsink cover that makes it all black for the air cooler as well, so that'll fit in there. And then I mentioned to Noctua that I've been sort of theorizing an update to my HTPC, one of my infamous projects that I guess I sort of completed sometime in years past, but I've wanted to update that. It has a passive cooler on it, and Noctua has the most recent highly acclaimed passive cooler on the market, which is the NHP1. So I mentioned that to them, and they said, let's send you one of those over as well. NHP1 works excellently as a passive cooler. You can also add active cooling onto it to make it an even better cooler, so they also provided an NF-A12X25LS PWM to combine with that if I so desire. This is probably not going to go into use until like February or March, but it's good to have some of those parts on hand already. They've also provided their thermal paste guard for AM5. Since AM5 has some nooks and crannies to it, this will prevent the thermal paste from going down in there, as well as their AM5 offset mount so that their cooler sits ideally positioned over the heat producing Ryzen dies underneath the heat spreader for AM5 CPUs. This is a heavy box. The reason this is such a heavy box is that it's full of power supplies from ENERMAX. ENERMAX makes really good power supplies. I've been using ENERMAX power supplies like back in the days in like the mid 2000s when I worked at Newegg. I bought an ENERMAX 650 watt power supply. It was like 180 bucks at the time, which is a lot for a power supply at the time, but then I used it for like 10 years in multiple builds because a high quality power supply should last you a long time. ENERMAX's most recent rendition of their power supply is the Revolution DFX. You will likely be seeing some pre-roll ads on my channel for these power supplies. That's why they sent them over. But we're also going to be making use of these, not the 850 or the 1050. The 1200 watt version over here is what's going to be powering Joe's Threadripper build because 1200 watts is a very solid amount for that build. It's 80 plus gold rated, so very good efficiency. And it has the 12 VH power connector built into it natively. And we are going to be using that for Joe's graphics card because he's going to be using an RTX 4090. We're also going to be using the Lian Li streamer extensions because we want the whole thing to be a little over the top in terms of what it looks like when we're finished. And the that comes in a couple different varieties, but we wanted to use the 12 VH power version. So that's what we're going to be pairing with this 1200 watts power supply over here. Of course, different wattage is available. And this also has RGB, which you may or may not be interested in. But yes, if you don't like RGB, you can turn it off. Or actually, they have a version that doesn't come with RGB too. All right, we're coming down to it with a few things that were sent to my PO box. If you guys aren't aware, I do mail time usually every month, sometimes every 2 months, depending on how many things I have arrived. But my PO box is listed in the description of every video. If you guys want to send me a letter or a package or food or beer or anything that is, you know, edible and isn't gonna make me sick. This letter is from Ian, who is a fan of the channel, a subscriber, and Ian says some very kind things about the videos I make and the content. Ian really likes them. Thank you so much for the kind words. And Ian is also located near here in Riverside County, and Ian does photography and offered to do a photo shoot for my family. So Ian, it being December and things being a little bit hectic at the end of the year, I can't say we're gonna take you up on this right away, but I will forward this along to my wife and see if we can maybe get something arranged early next year. Thank you so much for the letter. Next, we have a package from Daniel O. This is also somewhat local here in California. Let's see what Daniel sent over. We have, ooh, what in the world? So the letter comes from Daniel O. Daniel O manages the SFF build account on Instagram, small form factor builds. Daniel is actually reaching out, potentially interested in collaboration, so I will need to follow up about that. I am very curious what's actually in this box though, because it looks interesting to me. These are headphones. These are used and very large, bulky headphones. What? Oh, I can hear the 1970s. And a book, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Thiel? Either way. Notes on startups and how to build the future. And then in here we have, cool printed sticker. I like that. I like the dragon. And a Memorex CD player? What? So here's the baffling thing. The letter is very nice, very straightforward about Daniel and what he does and what he's interested in, but it doesn't reference the stuff that's in the box at all. So the book, I presume, is because he wants me to learn more about startups. There's no explanation as to why there is a CD player here and it's empty. I was like, there's probably a burned CD in here with a secret message that I need to listen with these crazy headphones, but I think this is just stuff that was also in the box, apparently. You know, I always like a nice gold-plated 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch jack though, so that's very convenient to have. And these headphones are a trip. Like, Danton Dynaphase 60, wow. Those are crazy. I am not anything close to a headphone or audiophile fanatic, so if any of you guys are and recognize these and what they are and where they came from, and you want to leave me an explanation down in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. A bit of a walk down memory lane, but that wraps it up for this video and this unboxing. There was one more package I was hoping that would have arrived, but it's still en route, and that is a big box that's coming of merch from my merch store, which is gonna have some new shirts and pint glasses and a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna be using some of those for Christmas presents and some to distribute to some friends and people who I told I would get shirts like years ago, and I'm finally making making good on that. Sometimes it takes me a while to get around to things, but I do get around to it eventually. But if you are interested in my store and helping support my channel, we do have an ongoing end of the year sale. That's linked in the description, paulshardware.net, high quality merchandise. Also, if you'd like to hit the thumbs up button on this video, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that's a good call. Again, the charity live stream is on Saturday. We'll be streaming for about 8 hours here on my channel, and Kyle's gonna be streaming on his channel too. Thank you guys so much again for watching this video. I'll post links to some of the stuff that arrived, as well as that spreadsheet in the video's description, and we'll see you all in the next video.